Welcome y'all to the Blackhoof Saloon, a Wild West Exodus podcast. Mosey on up to the bar and get yourself a bottle of firewater or a glass of sarsaparilla and listen to some good old yarns about adventures of law dogs, outlaws, and weird creatures. So set a spell, water your ride or your rider, and get ready to tune up your posses. This is the Blackhoof Saloon.
You like that face? Yeah, who's that?
We are live again, and I think I did our little intro right this time. Let me go ahead and make sure I got stuff set up. This is Eric with the Blackhoof Saloon. Welcome, guys. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and switch to my headphones now so I can make sure I can hear you guys.
Before you break it?
Before I break the internet. Welcome to the show. This is our next little live. We're kind of doing a series here. And with me, as always, I have my co-hosts, Brian and Tom.
Howdy, everybody.
Say hi, guys.
Hello. I'm trying to man the chat if I can.
Okay, yeah. So you guys that are tuning in, we are doing a chat, a live chat. So if you guys want to chime in, we'll be watching to answer questions, and you can kind of participate in the live stream. But tonight, what we're doing is this is part 2 of our Posse Build Challenge. I'm going to switch so I can see everybody too. This is part 2 of our Posse Build Challenge, where we're going to take from basically the start to the finish of a posse project. We kind of, in our last live stream, we highlighted what the project was, and we each kind of went over what our ideas for what we kind of wanted to build out. And then what we'll do is we're gonna do kind of like a series of just live project hobby type of hangouts where we're all working on those posses. But tonight Brian is up. Brian's gonna jump in and go first. And Brian, you want to give him a little a recap of what your ideas were for your Posse Bonanza, as Tom liked to call it?
Yeah, so
you came up with that title.
I don't remember.
right. So the goal is we each are going to go through and build a posse and discuss all the different things that come with the posses we've chosen to build. We're going to go through the factions, different options on what you can do for our specific builds. And while we do that, we're also going to go through the steps that you, the viewer, would go through as well. So it basically a walk through the journey of buying models, building the models, what to expect for the various factions that we're going to be diving into. But then, like for today, we're going to go over the Death from Above. That's the posse theme that I'm going to start today. So we're going to open the box. We're going to start discussing it, and while we're discussing it, I'll be starting the process of building these models. I also have a Fire Eagle and Thunderbird I bought for my build.
That kind of sounds like you kind of know what you want to put in that slot.
Seriously, he's got some barbecue and thunder chicken.
That's right. I've got one now. I might end up trying to get another one. that way I can go with one of each. I know Mike is out there and he probably has 3 of both, and so because he started his Death from Above this week as well. So that's the gist of today's video. And then the next 2 videos we'll dive into Eric's chosen posse and then Tom's chosen posse.
Yep.
Not necessarily in that order, but.
And I'm still I've been kind of messing around with the Posse Builder online, and man, I'm having a tough time, guys. I am going to need this little chat to help me figure out what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Right.
I'm at the same point.
Right. So the goal is that we start with the idea, like the basis of what our goal is, right? So mine's the Death from Above. Well, at some point, to get to 1,500, this box alone just isn't going to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
There's a finite number of things, and I think Eric is going to pull up the cards, and we're going to discuss how many points this box is on its own, the theme posse, even some of your options going into a faction posse if that's the route you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Or once you finish out all the points for this box, where are you going to go, right? I've got one of the options that I did purchase, but then I also have other options that I've already owned. I do have other Warrior Nation models that I've collected over time. So some of them are painted, some of them aren't painted. So once those options come up, well, obviously I won't rebuild if I already got the model and it's already painted, but those are the things that we'll discuss. And so if we hit a point where we get to an option that I don't have, then obviously I have a gut check and see if I can roll a crit on Instaperch.
Yep.
He's got that order button all set to go.
Right. So right now the model on deck for the next purchase is Cloud Runner, the Bird Rider that Legendary bought.
So I guess first place to start diving into this, Brian, is the posse theme. Did you have an idea what your were you going to do a boss theme, or are you going to start with a generic Warrior Nation posse theme?
The first couple times I drafted it up using the Posse Builder was the goal that I wanted to bring the 4 options that I mentioned, right? That doesn't hit to 1,500. So there are other things I have to do, and to actually bring them, depending on whether I'm doing a theme posse or a faction posse, I have to also bring other things that aren't included in this stuff. So, that's what the trick is finding out what are those other options that I wanted to explore, and that's what we're going to discuss. So the downside is my notes are in my phone, and this camera is my phone.
So is it really hard to
access it right now?
Is it really hard to find other options? Aren't the other options always another Thunder Chicken?
So if one of you brings up the theme, why don't y'all discuss, go over the theme that Alcon has.
Alcon.
Sure.
Okay.
I got it right here.
I'm not guessing what the theme is.
Sure. I got it right here.
By slot.
So if all 6 slots are filled with at least 1 unit in the posse, then when any unit from this posse is in reserve, you may add +1 to the reserve checks. Alcon the Sky Spirit is the only unit with the boss trait permitted in this posse. So in the first slot, you have to take a Payasa Spirit Walker. In the second slot, you either have to take a Fire Eagle or a Payasa Spirit Walker.
Okay.
In the third slot, you need to take either a Thunder Chicken or a Payasa Spirit Walker. In slot 4, you can take a Fire Eagle or Payasa Spirit Walker. In the 5th slot, you can take a Thunder Chicken or Payasa Spirit Walker.
I already see the theme here.
Yep. And in the 6th slot, you could take a Thunder Chicken or a Fire Eagle or a Payasa Spirit Walker.
So, Brian, how many of that big old bird do you got? Just one?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, just
Man,
one.
sounds like somebody's going to be ordering some more
I think Mrs.
big
Powell
birds.
might be getting mad at us.
Just one. But I have 2 heads.
Yeah, just mount them both. It'll be fine.
Right. Just put it on a big one of the. Just put it on the base.
Yeah, well, 2 heads are always better than 1. That's what Confucius says, anyway.
Or I can use a Thunder Chicken head because it's a little bigger.
So yeah, I think you got to go Thunder Chicken if you only have one. I mean, we did have that conversation about what is the single greatest piece in the game.
Yeah.
I
We
believe that
did.
one.
Yeah, that one's pretty scary with its abilities.
I like the looks of the Fire Eagle better, but man, that Thunder Chicken's nasty.
Right. Okay. So one of the things we'll discuss, I'll just break in. So I've opened one bag. Now, obviously, I could eagerly rip all the bubble wrap off and put all the pieces in little piles, but for because some of the things fell off the sprue, like a little head, I'm going to actually just work one model at a time. One thing I do suggest if you're doing modeling with resin or the plastics is get an actual cutter.
Yep.
It saves from accidental stabbings with an X-Acto knife. And no, I won't admit how many years I was doing models and I did not have one.
Yep.
Uh,
And they're real nice. If you get one that's got a nice flat side, you can get in real close in with where you got to cut. And
this one I'd spend a little extra, and it's actually a miniature hobby, sprue cutter. Instead of like, I know when I was younger, building like tanks and stuff like that, cutters, it didn't matter what it was. The parts weren't small enough that you were going to run into a risk.
Use the wire cutter on the inside of a plier.
Right. And it
Basically what I just picked up. Those are old wire cutters.
So, I mean, you can get the ones similar to what Brian has. I think Army Painter has them for like $8, something like that. So, I mean, they're pretty inexpensive, and they really, really are helpful to have.
Oh yeah.
Mine have a yellow handle, but otherwise, basically, they're exactly what Brian's got.
So, I do also save like the majority of my sprue. One, because you never know if you're going to need it for whatever. These long, thin poles I've used for pinning. Like if my the piece is needs to be pinned, but my drill bits and my razor or metal pins, I don't have a metal pin that's big enough. I'll just whittle down a piece of resin and use that, because I can just sand it down to the needed thickness. And
You're ambitious. I just have different sizes of paper clips that I cut.
I only have one size paper clip, and I have the bit for that size. I do have smaller bits. I just don't have any metal pins for that size. So I'll just whittle down a piece of sprue. All right. So first tool that you're going to want is that one. Next tool, X-Acto knife for jabbing yourself in the thumb. And then the secondary use of it is to clean the flashing off of a model.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone was posting a picture of them with a fresh cut somewhere in the all the hobby groups I'm in. It was actually kind of funny. And I think that's why they call, Sid will call this blood for the blood god. I think the other nickname is
Zid.
Juice.
So what other units are you looking to put into this posse here, Brian?
Okay, so I've thought of bringing in a second boss,
Mm-hmm.
or some faces. So Iron Tooth is one of the ones I've thought of. White Buffalo as a face. Um, even Tinker maybe even bringing some range with maybe Apache Kid. So there's different options, but really, why don't we start with the 4 I know I'm bringing
Okay.
and go over the cards,
Okay.
and then we can start saying, hey, these are the skills and the abilities that we have. What other models are going to have some synergy? So, uh, that might help. And since I won't have any of those cards up, and I won't be able to dive into searching for that, if one of you has these cards, and then maybe the other one looks for those other ones, or even Tom, I know you're watching. Maybe any comments that are coming up. Maybe someone else can pitch in and say, "Hey, what about so and so because of this synergy with
Yeah.
with
Yeah, if
those
you guys are in the chat and want to suggest something, just put it up there, and hopefully we'll see it in a timely manner, and then we can pick it out of the cards.
So, Brian, what are we starting with? Alcon and the girls?
Yeah.
All right.
So Alcon's going to be your main boss.
Eric, do you have it up, or do you want me to start in on it?
I do have it up. If you want to go ahead and start, I want to try something here.
Okay. So Alcon, the Sky Spirit, he's got Boss, Warrior Nation, Beast, Male, Payasa, Spirit Walker, and Flight. On top of that, he's got 2 Fortune, a quick 6, movement of 7, an aim of 6, grit of 5, a fight of 6, and a limit of 3. And he costs 170 points.
Okay, and then so let's go ahead and I'll run through his stats here real quick.
Stats or his weapons? I just went through his stats.
You went through his stats. Okay, I was messing around with stuff, so hopefully everybody can see this. I pulled it up on the stream, so everybody can see what we're looking at. So let's go over his weapons then. So he's got razor claws that are lethal on a crit. They have a range of 1 inch, a piercing of -2, and a rate of attack 3. And then he has a secondary melee option that is his blade that he can parry with. Has a range of 1 inch, a piercing of -1, and a rate of attack of 1, because it's just one blade. He's taking a swipe at somebody. And then he has a ranged weapon that is his, how do you guys say this? Shaitan bow?
That's his cheating bow.
Cheating bow?
That's for when he wants to cheat.
That is attuned, it's brutal, and it's lethal on a crit with a range of 18 inches, a piercing of -1, a rate of attack is 1. Let's see. Let's go over his common rules. He is, since he's the boss, he is unique and only one can be included in the force. He has common rules such as metal, largesse, quicken the dead, dead eye, and moving target. So as long as he moves, he's going to be hard to hit.
Yep.
And then let's jump into special rules. He has long shot. He ignores long range penalties for shoot actions. My favorite, treasure hunter. You get to add an extra adventure card to your hand. Should he be destroyed at the end of the resolution phase, this ability does not stack. So like if he gets killed, you lose that ability. And if you have another unit in your posse with treasure hunter, he does not stack.
But if he does die, that other treasure hunter's ability does trigger, and you get to add that.
So it's always pretty good to have 2 of them, so you have a backup. All right, what else we got here, Tom?
We got team player. He can replace his boss trait for a face trait. If he does it, he loses the largesse rule and can no longer take its own posse, but can be included in other posses. I actually think that that's such a cool thing. Pretty much every posse, most posses, I shouldn't say every posse, but most posses have a restriction of, that's the only boss you can have. And this is a way to actually take a second boss in the posse. So if you really like Alcon, it's a pretty cool feature that you could take him in some other posse if you want to.
Right. So that's one of the other build options that I have is I can run Cloud Dancer's posse, and then I can bring Alcon in as as a team player.
Right. And that's maybe something to explore. So after that, we've got elusive, backstab reactions, suffer a -4 penalty. Spirit aim. During shoot actions, this unit may choose to replace the value of their aim attribute with the value of their mind attribute and may re-roll failed shoot actions. Furthermore, successful shoot actions by this unit cannot be re-rolled.
Okay, well, we got Child of the Great Spirit. This unit ignores the penalty for uneven ground and may re-roll yeller checks if subject to them. The unit may not be included in posses with tainted or automata units. So no robots, no creepy crawly guys. And then lastly, he's got fight or flight reaction. That when he is nominated the target of a charge, he may spend a point of fortune, his big whopping 2, to immediately be placed D5 inches from its current position. The placement must be to a point that is directly away from the charging unit, and it cannot be placed in impassable terrain or something that would cause the unit to be engaged. So he's kind of got a, hopefully the board's not like loaded up on scatter terrain and a lot of units around him that he can do this. But it's one of those newer ones we've talked about before that it's very cool thematically. He's a bird man. Something spooks a bird. What's it going to do? It's going to fly away.
Yep. And I think we're going to be seeing this one a lot tonight.
Yep.
Right. So Child of the Great Spirit and Fight Fight will be on, I think, all three of the daughters as well.
Yep. So what do you guys think about Alcon overall? I don't find him overwhelming.
No, I've used him briefly. Always in. I've built a posse with Great Wolf in his human form, and I've split the posse with Alcon in there. Now, I don't think I filled out his posse all that much. And actually thinking about it, I think it was before he was technically a boss. So he was still considered a face at that time that I was using him. So I take that back. I did not split it with him. But yeah, he, like you said, Tom, he isn't like super overwhelming. He has a lot of support type abilities based on what else you put in the posse list.
Yep. So, I mean, his bow is nice. 18 inches is long, one of the longer ranged weapons in the game. That Pierce -1 is not much. Rate of attack of 1 is not much. Attuned to bugle is not. What was that, Brad?
The bow?
Yep.
Is attuned?
Yep. Oh, that's true.
What's that do?
Yep. So it takes half the value of mind, right?
Right. So if you focus the shot, his mind half would be the new Pierce for that shot. Those
so
shots.
-4.
So he can get it to Pierce -4. All he's got to do is focus. With 2 fortune, there's some limitations going on there.
Yeah.
Which is also why bringing in a second boss, or bringing him as a team player, bring in another boss, he would have more access to be a better sniper because he'll have extra fortune around to, make sure he can attune every shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Because realistically, that's what I see him as a sniper. You park him on top of a building, and you want him to take these bow shots. If he can attune them, that -4 with that range is pretty deadly.
Yep. So I mean, he does have some nice things going for him there. So you've got the -4. Well, it's only rate of attack 1. You're doing it with a 7 because you're going to use spirit aim to use his mind instead of his aim attribute. So you're going with a 7. You automatically re-roll failed shoot actions, and you can't be made to re-roll something that hits.
Right.
So
and if you focus to get attuned, it's now a 9.
Yep.
So.
And it's brutal, so you're going to get 2 hits on there.
Right. And so that's why, he's still really good without like a higher rate of attack, is because, the arguments are if he hits, it's 2, and he's not going to miss very often.
Yep.
So now, 18 inches, you're reaching out, but then when you take into account his flight, he can move and shoot, and he's going to be,
You're pretty much going to tag somebody. You're going to tag him for 2 hits, and those 2 hits are going to be at -4. Right. So it's a big wallop you're taking, but you're not taking it over and over again.
Right. He's not going to take out a big group of hands.
Yep.
He's going to be focusing on. You'll use him to focus on like a boss or a face, an annoying face, maybe a creation. That way you have a chance of getting, taking something off the board.
Yep. He seems to me like somebody you want to use as a follow-up, though, to somebody that either has a status on them or has already used their Quick and the Dead. He seems like a finisher.
Right.
All right. Brian, who are you thinking about taking in slot number 1 there?
I mean, you have to dive into the sisters. I really don't think it really matters since I'm bringing them all.
Okay.
There is no
let me find them.
Bonus for bringing them quicker. It's not like oh, you got to bring, the Vengeful before you bring the Oracle. They don't.
Yeah. So those 3 gals will be basically your slot 1, 2, and 3 is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
You just, the goal is to bring what you got, and so
there.
it doesn't matter what order you want to discuss them.
I will.
But it is
the first one.
Something to consider as you bring in the models you're bringing.
Yeah.
To look at their special abilities to see if there's anything out there that it'll help. Right. So we already know with Alcon, he's a really good finisher. Right. So now we're looking at these other models as how do we support Alcon finishing troublesome models, right?
Okay, so we have the first, and these are his daughters, right?
Right.
Okay, so here's the first one. Bloop. That we have. Atoa, is that how you say her name? The Tireless?
I don't know. Ahota?
Ahota?
Ahota? Ahota? Maybe?
That yours sounds closer than mine, Tom.
I like to read.
All right. So she's a face, Warrior Nation, beast. So she's considered a beast. Well, maybe she fights like one. She's female. And how do you say that again, Tom?
Payasa?
Payasa.
I don't know.
That's going to be a struggle every time I have to say it.
That'll be our official pronunciation for this show. That we'll say it's Payasa.
Piazza. And then she's a spirit walker and has flight. So she has one fortune of her own, 110 points per model, but she's unique, so you're only going to have one of her. She has a quickness of 5, a mind of 4, aim of 5, her grit is 5, fight is 6, and a limit of 3. And then let's take a look at what she got to fight with. She has both melee, so she has sharp talon that's lethal on a crit. Range is right up on somebody, so base to base. Piercing is a -1 with a rate of attack 2. And then she has her cheating spear, which is refined. It is a thrown, so she can throw it. And it's lethal on a crit with a range of 2 inches, piercing a -2, and a rate of attack 1.
Now, remind us, what does refined and thrown do?
So I need to look at my stats. So refined is a crit is on a 9 and 10, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
And thrown is 6 inches, is it?
Not have my.
Yep.
Okay.
I do not have my weapon cards here, so I can't quickly cheat.
So she does have a little bit of range there. She doesn't have to go melee.
Yeah.
With, she can go 6 inches with that. Crits on a lethal. That's a nice little bonus there.
Yeah, and I mean, being the refined, well, you have a little bit better chance of getting that crit. So.
Yep.
All right. So her common rules there.
Common rules. The model is unique. You can only bring one. Then it's got metal, the quick and the dead, and moving target.
Okay, and her special rules. She's indomitable. Once per turn, when the unit is declared as the initial target of an attack, she can take a mind check, and if passed, can remove all negative conditions that are applied to it at that time. If failed, the conditions apply as normal. So she has a way of, just kind of shrugging off disordered and stunned and all those nasty ones that Brian, usually if he was on the other side, likes to put on people.
The ones that leave you vulnerable to being killed on the next shot.
Yep.
Right.
Let's see. She is also elusive, so backstab reactions against this unit suffer -4 penalty. She has death from above. She may end a flight action engaged in combat, which is pretty cool that she can fly right down on somebody and just start tearing into them. Yep. If it does so, it may immediately take a fight action for 1 action point, regardless of the number of combat actions this unit has already taken. That is huge. Yep. To be able to do that. And yeah, like I said, tear into her, or like we just kind of touched into her spear. Holy cow. She can mess somebody up.
Yep.
All right, Tom, you take the last 2.
Well, Child of the Great Spirit and Flight or Fight. We already went over those in Alcon, so we'll call them out that they're here, but we're going to see this over and over throughout all of these.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
She's a face. She's not super great. She's better than a hand. She's kind of what a face should be.
Well, I mean, she's got metal. She's got quick and the dead. She's got moving target. She's indomitable is by far her niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she has a little more defensive ability to benefit from her jumping into melee fights with the death from above. And then, obviously she can fly away if she has to, if she's already in melee and wants to get out because she needs to. Or she can wait and use fire or flight and just get some distance.
Yep.
So she's got definite usability.
So we got a little bit of help from the chat there. Andrew said that the throne is 8 inches.
8 inches.
Well,
Oh,
he's
okay.
got a question there. So it's 6
Even
or 8
better.
inches. Yeah, if it's 8 inches, that's even better. We will have to double check that when we can.
I could check that. Well, looking.
So is there any one feature that kind of jumps out for her that is a reason why you want to make sure you take her, Brian?
Well, again, with the Indomitable,
Yeah.
it gives her the ability to shrug off conditions. And so obviously if you're going to be risking her in combat, that,
Yeah.
that makes her pretty elite with all your other options, right? So,
Yeah.
the Warrior Nation's got a lot of melee guys, right? So her one up from them is, one, she's a flyer, so she can get in and out of she can get into combat so much better than the running typical melee people, right? But then she also has the ability to stick around a little because she can use Invulnerable to get rid of anything that she picks up that may trigger later, right? So if she has Hazard on, she doesn't want to mess with the Hazard, she can take a Mind and try to get rid of it. Now, she has a Mind of 4, so not the easiest of checks to make, but she carries her own fortune, so she can always
bump it up,
hedge that bet, and now it's 6, so that's a much easier.
Right. So she's a tank. She's a little tanky. And to answer the question in the chat, throne is 8 inches.
Yep.
It is 8. Okay.
All right. So then the next sister is going to be, I like the color scheme they have on all these. One was aquamarine. We got blue coming up, and we have a purple. So here we have, let me go ahead and share her. Bloop.
Aquamarine. Very specific color choices there.
Bloop.
I would have said green.
Art degree right there, just coming out, I guess. They're beaten into my brain. So, all right, Manaba.
Manaba the Oath Keeper.
My mouth just does not want to do that. Warrior Nation names.
Yeah, just that. It's just the warrior.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, I can say prodigious now. Let's see. So she's also a face. Warrior Nation beast, female. See, I already screwed it up. I forgot.
Piazza.
I need to phonetically write it down here in front of me. Spirit Walker and Flight. She's got 1 fortune also, and she costs the same, 110. She's unique. She has a quickness of 5, mind of 4, aim of 5, grit of 5, fight of 6, and a limit of 3. But it's like deja vu here a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see her weapons. So she's got 3 different melee weapons. She has blades with parry, range of 1 inch with a piercing on -1, rate of attack 2, sharp talons that are lethal on a crit. Range is base to base, piercing a -1, a rate of attack is 2, and then she also has a cheatin' spear that's refined, thrown, and lethal on the crits also. Range is 2 inches, piercings -2, rate of attack is 1. And then we have the common rules, which, are no surprise, pretty much the same. She has,
except for she has what? What does she have?
My favorite one, yeah. She's got metal, quicken the dead, moving target, and prodigious. I did it.
Did it. Special rules. She is elusive like everybody else. She has death from above, which we just covered. She has Child of the Great Spirit, which they all have, and Fight or Fight reaction, which so far they all have. So we won't rehash those.
Yeah, it's going to be, like you said, a reoccurring theme with all these bird
So what
people.
separates her from her sister that we've already covered is she has prodigious, which gives you +3 when you're using your fortune to focus.
Yep.
So that's what sets her apart, right? So she also has a higher aim, but again, she's throwing her spear. She's a little better at it than her sister.
Because she's prodigious.
Right.
So she's a little more balanced all around her, where the first one was a tank. Because you can focus and get that +3 instead of that +2, it seems like Manaba has a few different options she can do to use that, whether it's in moving, whether it's in focusing an attack. She probably can be a little more offensive.
Right. Depending on how you want to use that fortune, she's going to be using the fortune a little better than her sister does.
Yep. And has more options, I think, and what to do with it.
What do you mean?
She's got, with that +3, she's got a little more. She's got a little bit more options as far as she can get the extra movement out of it. She can get a little bit extra, either fight or aim out of it. Her attacks can be a little more effective. Just seems to make her a little more flexible.
Right.
Okay, let's see. So we have one more sister. Let me find her card. So this is the one that I like the look of her.
And what color is she?
She is, well, if you want to be technical,
and why wouldn't she be?
Mauve.
Mauve. I always wondered what color mauve was. I don't know. That seems kind of like a lilac to me.
Yeah, I could go lilac with that. Oh boy.
No, that looks more like periwinkle blue.
Where's my color chart? All right. Toponi?
Sure, why not?
The Vengeful. I don't know. Yeah. So all her keywords are the same: face, warrior, nation, beast, female, Piesa, spirit walker, flight.
I thought we agreed that on this show it will be Piasa.
Piazza. I forgot the A. She has a fortune of 1 also. She cost 110. She's unique. It's very deja vu here. Quickness
all
of
over again.
5, mind 4, aim 5, grit 5, fight 6. Her limit is 3. Let's see the weapons. So she's only got 2 melee weapons. She's got the sharp talon. That's crit lethal. The range is base to base with piercing of -1. Rate of attack is 2. She has a cheat and spear. It's refined, thrown, and lethal on a crit with a range of 2 inches, piercing of -2, and a rate of attack 1. So let's see. Common rules. She is, she has metal, quicken the dead, moving target. So that's a little bit different than the last sister. And then special rules, Tom.
So we've got Death Dealer. While this unit is engaged, each successful hit caused by this unit on an enemy unit they are engaged with causes a further automatic hit on that unit. Automatic hits from these and qualities like Brutal cannot generate further hits from the Death Dealer rule. Now, I have a question, and maybe I've asked this before. If you use Death Dealer to get that extra hit, does that not stack with Brutal? Not that she has it. I'm just, one of those rules questions. It says automatic hits from these and from qualities like brutal cannot generate further hits. But if you have brutal and you have death dealer, do you get 3 hits on a hit, or do you still only get 2?
You get the 1 from brutal and you get 1 from death dealer.
Right.
But
So
the
you get
1
3.
from death dealer does not cause
Further brutals.
and the brutal does
Gotcha.
not cause another death dealer.
Gotcha.
You got
But you get a 3 for 1 on a hit though.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Good to stick that in your back pocket in case it comes up later.
Yeah, yeah.
Elusive, we've seen that. Backstab reaction, suffer -4. Death from above. Child of the Great Spirit Fighter, flight reaction.
Right.
So I think that she's, as all 3 of these girls are kind of basically melee characters. Yeah, they have a little bit of range,
combat.
but yeah, they're close combat characters. She seems like she's built as the most offensive of them. So it looks like we have, a defensive character, a balanced character, and an offensive character when you put these 3 girls together.
Right. So you have one who can hedge her bets, and if she hits, she can capitalize on it, like Toponi. And then you have one who gets in combat and can survive, maybe sticking around. And then you have the one that you're calling like the middle one. She actually is the one that is most likely to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Her fight is always going to add 3 to it. If you're if you're jumping into combat and you're facing something you really want to hit, you're gonna focus. I mean, that's her ability, really. That's her special ability compared to her sisters, is her ability to focus. So you're gonna focus to try to hit, and when you do, you're gonna hit.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, we were told lilac. I guess that's the going color in the chat. So
well,
thank you, Andrew.
I'd like to say I win. The one that has no art training or ability or.
I'm gonna
wait a minute. I was not using art skills when I guessed Periwinkle Blue. That was strictly a Snatch reference. So that had nothing to do with art.
I'm gonna go get you a bottle of lilac and I'm gonna send it to you. That way you can use it on all your.
Everything's getting painted that color now.
You got to have that color in somewhere. Whether it's
so I will say, I will go back to the model. Right. One of the things to be careful for is there's some little bitty parts on that sprue.
Yeah.
How bitty?
Like, I have.
If it's so small, it doesn't want to focus on it.
Right. So there's a shoulder pad and then the arm, and they're both very tiny.
Is this a tweezer putter together one?
I don't normally need to use tweezers, but there are people out there that complained about all the little tiny enlightened pieces. And
don't get me
started. Some of this would probably invoke those same people, like, they'll be like, oh.
You need to get the jeweler glasses for those.
But I can see some people, you may want the heads up, the little girl arms. And
look at that nice cleaning job you're doing on there.
Oh, he was waving that knife around for a while. I was getting nervous when I blew it up.
I'm kind of jealous. I just sort of go, it's mostly off.
All right, so let's see. What would be next then in this list for you, Brian? I already forgot what the theme is. I got to go look. So that was 1, 2, 3. So slot 4 is Fire Eagle or another one of like the girls with the keyword.
Now, what's interesting is you can juggle your slots here. If you just want the Thunder Chicken instead of the Fire Eagle, you could juggle your slots and take the Eagle at 3 and push one of the Payasa Spirit Walkers to 4.
Right.
Because the Fire and the Thunder alternate slots.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you do have a little bit of flexibility there, which is kind of nice. A lot of times in these theme posses, you have to go all the way deep into like slot 6 to get that big bad beast, or if it's one of the vehicles, the big vehicles, you have to usually go pretty deep in here. And this, yeah, slot 3, if you want a Thunderbird, take it.
Well, it's a little scary that this posse could just take 5 birds.
Yeah.
Right. It's similar to, the Wendigo hex, heavy Carcosa. If you're going to play Carcosa, it's literally the only option you have right now. So it's
Right.
like, oh, I'm going to bring.
But I don't know. The idea of facing 3 Thunderbirds backed up by 2 Fire Eagles
Yeah.
is a little scary.
So is that what you're thinking you're going to put in there, Brian? In that slot is
Why don't we go over both the Fire one and the Thunder?
Okay.
I know we talked about them when we did our.
Well, we'll go over them real quick and just kind of name what stands out for you, I guess. Then.
Right, because I'm trying to remember when we went over them when we were doing the favorites episode.
Yeah, they were like in somebody's
and one
top.
stood out to me as being like, hey, this one's really going to be the better option of the 2.
Okay.
So if I'm only going with one, obviously I'll go with the one that's going to have the bigger impact on it.
Yeah. Let's start with.
I think that's going to be Thunder Chicken, but
It is.
We'll start with the one that looks. I don't know. I think it looks cooler when you consider a painted model, but the Thunder Chicken does grow on you.
I think the eagle is just prettier.
It's a traditional looking model, and I think some of it is, all of us were in first edition where this is all we had, was the Fire Eagle.
Well, and let's face it, all 3 of us, Merca. So I mean, just look at it. I think
my gosh.
Screams America.
Okay. If I ever buy you a Fire Eagle, I want to see you paint it in those colors. America.
Heck no, man. What color scheme do you think I'm going to do the Thunderbird in? Red, white, and blue.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
So here's the Fire Eagle. Everybody can see it on the stream. Let's see. It's a pricey one. It's 140, but let's see. It's highest stat. I mean, it's average stat wise. It's, grid is 6. The fight and the aim are, 5 and 6. Limit of 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Razor Claws with their rate of attack of 4 dice.
That's what stands out to me.
Man,
that rate of attack 4.
Yeah, I mean I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, but it shoots fire and it's torrent." Yeah, it's rate of attack of 1. I mean, yeah, it's a torrent, so you can engulf and all that stuff, which is always nice to have for board control. Like you got a bunch of guys that are dug into a building, having that engulf is nice. But I mean, the common rules: metal, agile, moving target. We've seen that with what we've looked at already. Death and above, we've seen that. Elusive. Hardy's nice for reroll, the failed grit checks. It's got the fight or flight reaction, and then forceful strike, which is also nice.
So that forceful strike is what to me makes the Razor Claws.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it and I see that's the one thing you would do with this is you combine that special rule with the Razor Claws and
a rate of attack 4, 4 piercing attack. That's nasty. That's really nasty. The Fire Torrent is nice. It's utility thing. You could, it gives you a little bit more you can do, but with the flight and those Razor Claws, I mean, you can get in there, in Death from Above, it's just, you could just drop it in there and have a pretty good shot of just annihilating something.
So here's a good point that came up in the chat, and I kind of glossed over the common rules pretty quick, but the Fire Eagle doesn't have Quick in the Dead.
No.
Yep.
Benji brought that up in the chat, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Nope, it doesn't.
It's a, you're throwing it in there and expecting it to die in retaliation.
Yeah.
It really, you're gonna do damage. And the thing you have to be careful of is the thing you're attacking. Does that have Quick in the Dead? So again, you kind of want to use, I think, the Fire Eagle as a follow up to somebody else who's already either used up the Quick in the Dead or put some sort of condition on or something like that.
So I see Fire Eagle as a anti-hands unit, and she shines versus a ranged hands unit, right? You fly her down, death from above, into a pack of hands with rifles, and probably their sidearm or their melee weapon is something not to worry about.
Right.
And then she proceeds to just razor claw them all.
Yeah. And
I mean, because she's dropping she has the potential of dropping four hands in that one attack.
And I mean, if all else fails too, like having that template weapon could come in handy too. I mean,
that could be the follow up if the the outcome of death from above isn't to your liking, then she can for only one more point,
blast away, and you make.
Now the downside is, what's nice is she can combine the death from above with flight, and forceful strike. So that first action, or as far as her limit of 2, is flight, death from above, forceful strike, slaughter, and now she can torrent the remaining hands unit, right?
And who knows? You may catch a face in that torrent.
You could also follow that up with another razor claw attack.
Well, the limit of 2 kind of, you could, but it's going to cost you more, right? It's going to cost 2 points.
Another good point brought up.
But does it though? Because if you're doing the death from above, it's the flight action is and engage in combat with an immediate fight action. Does that use up? I guess that uses up your fight action then, huh? It's not, that fight action is not a free. Yeah, I guess it's not free.
So here's another.
Well, it says regardless of the number of combat actions, this unit has already taken this activation. So I guess that's something to Warhost, just to see whether it works both directions or just in the favor of one direction.
Right, because it almost seems like it's almost worth, if you're already engaged, make an attack and then make your move in flight and drop into a second unit.
Right.
Yeah, a good point with the template is that whoever she's attacking can't use Quick in the Dead against a template weapon.
Right. So if you drop into a hands unit and then there happens to be a face nearby.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at her buzzard brother. Let's see. I gotta go back. Whose art looks fantastic. And some of the paint jobs I've seen on the Dark Council of this guy, it grows on you. Okay, so let's share him. The Great Thunderbird. So he's a support warrior nation beast, spirit animal, flight. He's 135. He's got a quick of 4, mind of 4, aim of 6, Grit is 6, fight is 5, limit is 2. He has a melee and ranged weapon. His melee is a razor claws that are lethal on a crit with a 1-inch range, -2 pierce, rate of attack 3. And his big one is the lightning bolt, hazardous, stun, brutal, special, fatal on a crit with a 10-inch range, a piercing of -2, big ol' whopping rate of attack of 4. I like that right there.
Yep.
Right.
Let's see his common rules. So he has just metal, agile, and shrouded. So no quick and the dead again, but shrouded will help the survivability.
Yep.
And his special
So
rules.
this is the big one, Stormbringer.
Yes, this is
Once
the one
per
that you
activation.
kind of you went nuts for this one, Tom.
Once per activate. Well, you know what? I don't think I got it when we first. I think Brian had to like school me on this one. But once per activation, this unit may spend an action point and immediately place a hazard and disorder condition on a unit within 8 inches. This is you start out your activation, and if the unit's within 8 inches, you automatically place a hazard and disorder. So when you come in and you make your hit, it kills them. It's really, this is the boss killer.
Mm-hmm.
And if it may die in the return fire, it doesn't have a lot of defensive ability.
It has Hardy. He does have Hardy to re-roll grit checks.
He does have Hardy. He has metal
And
shrouded. So I mean, he's not defenseless.
And then the fact that he has Galvanic, where the stun and disorders do not cause any attribute penalties.
Yep.
He don't care.
And with the elusive and the fight or flight, he can back out of combat in some situations. So I mean, there's a little bit of survivability there. But I mean, if you send him in just to blow a guy's boss off the board in the first turn, if he dies, so what? It's nice if he doesn't, but he kind of did his job at that point. And he's just really is built to do exactly that.
So does that pretty much sum up why you want to take him, Brian?
right. Like I said, as I recalled, he was the ranged support that this posse gets. That 10 inches of hazardous, stun, brutal death. I mean, it's really a good, at a rate of attack 4. Between him and then Alcon, it's a toss up of which one's going to be being the finisher offer. But with Stormbringer, you bring the Thunder first, and then Alcon could be the lightning to finish off somebody if the Thunderbird didn't take them out on their own.
Yep. Now, with the hazard and disorder, though, they still get to roll quick in the dead, right? I don't see anything in the quick in the dead that says they don't. So that's all.
No, that's still viable.
Yeah, quick in the dead is the one that always screws me up. I hate that rule. I think we've covered before that I hate that rule a lot.
Okay, so let's see, what would the next... People don't want to see me scrolling, so I'll go ahead and get rid of that. So what would be the next unit for you, Brian? I have to scroll back up.
We're at either Thunderbird or Spirit Walker.
Yep. So 4 could be Fire Eagle or a Spirit Walker. 5 is Great Thunderbird or a Spirit Walker. And then 6 is Thunderbird or a Fire Eagle or a Spirit Walker. So what are you thinking for the next slot then?
Well, like I said, Iron Tooth. So let's bring him up.
Iron Tooth, okay.
And now we're talking points. So if we want to start looking at what the cost is of what we're at right now, because that's going to affect where we go. Right?
Iron Tooth is Okay, so he's a legendary face.
But he's not a Payasa Spirit Walker. He's just a Spirit.
Oh, well, you said Spirit Walker. You didn't say.
yeah.
Payasa.
They all say Piop.
Oh, yeah. Then he won't count.
So he
at this
won't
point,
work.
At this point, if I don't have any more Thunder Chickens, I mean, we're already finished.
Might have run out of
It's
points.
that posse.
Right. We filled what we can fill with what you have for this posse.
Right.
Now you did mention the Cloud Runner. But she's going to be a boss.
So she wouldn't be able to go into that posse.
Yeah.
Which then flips it. So we could build off of her theme and have Alcon join her.
Mm-hmm.
Or just run them as two different posses.
Mm-hmm. I don't see a theme posse card for her.
I've seen it. It's a little very close to Alcon's. It just has a different bonus for filling it out.
Okay.
Which we already know we're not going to fill it out for either one. So
yeah, I mean,
it doesn't matter.
Looking at her here, I'll share her real quick so people can see her. She's pretty pricey, being a legendary model. She's $195. But she's got 4 fortune. That's quite a bit. I would almost like to see her as your main boss, and then take Alcon as, the backup.
So are we talking at this point, talking about a Warrior Nation faction posse? Because her posse is not listed on the website or in the Posse Builder.
Right. So the builds I was doing was her as a faction posse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which then would give you, I got the card here somewhere that I can just read it. Okay, let's see. So she's got, for slot 1, up to 2 Warrior Nation hand units. Slot 2 is Warrior Nation face unit and or a Warrior Nation hands unit. 3 is Warrior Nation face unit and or support unit. 4 is a hands unit and or another support unit. 5 is Warrior Nation face and or Warrior Nation hands. And 6 is Warrior Nation hands and or a support. So it's really not a whole lot different. It's just not like, it doesn't use that keyword as a specific. It's using the face keyword. So it actually gives you a little more flexibility taking the faction posse.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I mean,
now are we talking about having that in addition to Death from Above or instead of Death from Above?
Her faction, she would be bringing a second posse.
Okay. So all right. So as we're built right now, we're at 830 points.
okay.
So that's all the things that we covered in Death from Above plus Cloud Runner is 830 points, which that's still a lot of points left.
Right.
So what direction are you thinking of going in, Brian? I mean, you have a ton of options.
Right. So with that first slot, so what's a first slot in the faction?
It's a warrior, up to 2 Warrior Nation hand units.
Right. So this is where the balancing act becomes important, right? So you're going to have to bring at least the minimum required hands in one unit, which I think is 3. So you have to be at least 3 in one of the various hands units that the Warrior Nation has.
So I think the cheapest you could do is 45 points for 3 young bloods.
Right. So as a placeholder, while we do this build, that's what you do, right?
3 at 15 points.
You can have at least bring 3, right?
Yeah.
So, and then of course, now we know how much more points we have, then we can explore, okay, how do we min-max or capitalize on the remaining points to the remaining units that you can bring. So slot 2 is
a warrior nation face unit and or a hands unit.
Right. So one of the options is do you just want to go hands heavy, right? So I traditionally am not a hands heavy player. I prefer all these named superheroes from the eras. So my first instinct is no, let's go big. I got a big cat dude. So what's it look like bringing Iron Tooth, right?
Let's see. He's at 170. And yeah, he would. Here, I'll go ahead and share him.
Yep. And you see what Benji had mentioned too.
Yeah, no, I did. That's what I was giggling about.
Yeah, you got to share. What do you say?
So you can use a death from above and a bird to fill out the Raven Spirit theme, which fixes the fortune starving. And then you have Raven Spirit has Stormbringer as well. So you can basically bring the death from above posse in a Raven Spirit.
Oh my God! 2 Stormbringers.
That jump to my camera.
Okay,
that's interesting.
Let me turn off Iron Tooth, and then right there, spotlight. There we go. Yeah.
So you want me to toss that one into the Posse Builder real quick? See what it looks like.
Sure.
I think we've talked about him and the smoke dragon, and yeah, he's scary.
I hadn't considered him, Benji. So thanks.
If he goes in the list, Benji is going to be the first person to play that list.
Nice,
right?
So yeah,
see, I started painting him. He's not done. But
no, it looks good though. It looks good. So yeah, that's actually a really good option.
Right. One of the shortcomings of an Alcon posse is the very fortune starved.
And then you can get a lot of the spirit support for him.
Okay. He's actually still got a lot of he's got a lot of flexibility in his posse. Put together with Raven Spirit right now. So it's Raven Spirit, Alcon, Ahoda, Manaba, Taponi, and a Thunderbird. And in that Thunderbird slot, you can actually take you can either take basically taking the Thunderbird, you can take a second support unit there as well. And that's at 835. So still a lot of space left.
You still got a lot of points, yeah.
Doing what?
You're at 835. Basically having all of Death from Above plus Legendary Raven Spirit. And I did not include the Spirit Apparition in there. I can actually add that in as well if you want it for 45 points.
Yeah, we can do that.
So that's at 880 right now. So it's Death from Above, Legendary Raven Spirit plus a Spirit Apparition. You're at 880. Then if I add that second posse and put in where is she?
So
Cloud Runner. Then you are at 1,075.
And that's with Death from Above posse.
Mm-hmm.
Raven Spirit solo.
Raven spirit plus a spirit apparition.
Right, but that's part of him bringing one. That's not a slot in his posse.
Right. It's part, but you still have to pay the cost for it.
Right.
So.
And then a third boss.
No. So this is doing Raven Spirit's posse, but then filling it out with the Death from Above posse with Alcon as a face.
Oh, okay. Right. So Alcon and the sisters all get to benefit from the boost of Raven Spirit's fortune.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that it's not a Death from Above posse at that point. It's joining Raven Spirit.
Yep. The great spirit
Wardens of the
theme.
Great Spirit.
The children of the Great Spirit.
Okay.
So that's in his theme posse, Raven Spirit's theme posse.
Yep.
And what is the bonus for that posse?
+1 to their reserve checks. A single maximum size Planeswalker unit gains the totemic rule.
What's that?
It also says a single maximum size Plains Warrior unit gets the totemic rule.
Okay. So that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because then you can bring in more totems.
Yeah.
Because there's a slot left where you could take up to 2 Warrior Nation face units.
Benji says take the Great Elk. He says take all the beast.
One of each.
Do it.
Well, I do have energy. I do have some Sky Stallions.
You got some pony power ponies?
I do have Sky Stallions. I've got 3 of them.
What are those at? 90 a piece?
That is another option that I can bring. I think the one I did,
you need 2.
I wasn't able to bring all of them. So where they are right now.
Look at him. He's like, oh my God, all the options.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. Do you want to keep it? You got to make that decision. Do you want to have a little bit of something to cover all your bases? Do you want to just go in heavy and hard and take the beast? Yeah, if you do a unit of them, it's minimum is 2, and they're 90 points each. You got that on the wrong base, sir. I'm going to highlight that. Man, look at that. I can see dust on it.
Yeah, it's just been sitting in the cabinet for like
now,
3 to 4 years.
if you're going to take them and you're going to keep Cloud Runner, you are overcosted by 55 points.
If you bring 2 Stallions?
Yeah, if you take 2 Sky Stallions. They're too expensive.
I would say
I'm tempted to say go buy another Fire Eagle. Take a Thunderbird and a Fire Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, that's still 15 points over.
Oh, man. Get rid of those spirit apparitions then.
Yeah, that would do it.
Well, it was only 1, right? It was only 1.
I mean, they're 45 a model.
There's only 1. If you dump that, you're at 1170, and you could take. Well, you don't have any hands in this unit either, so I don't. You've got 30 points left to do something with. Take a strategic, bomb or something, booby trap.
What is? Nope, too expensive. Yeah, you're at that point where you're like pushing stuff around. Anything major would be too expensive for you.
You could take a second grade Thunderbird.
Oh, that's right. They are strategic now. The hunting wolves.
Andrew's like, civilians.
45. Angry mob. Yeah, I mean, civilians is always an option too, because you get points if they survive.
Yep.
All they have to do is just hang out and be cheerleaders.
And being as everyone else is flying, they just hide in the back and everything else is flying up the board. So
Yeah.
Right.
How much are civilians? I'm curious.
wow, this is tough.
They're 10 points apiece. Minimum of 3 up to 6.
You could take a 3-point civilian group if you took a fire eagle. Then you'd have 3 points left for a small civilians unit. Or you drop a fire eagle out since he doesn't have that extra one yet.
Do you know, Brian, question in the chat, can models with the keyword beast use the portals? Or the totems, I should say.
I don't recall ever hearing they were restricted. I do think they made like a change of like originally only medium and small bases could go through.
Yeah, I remember that.
That non-vehicle medium ovals could.
I don't know if I don't remember them adding the keyword beast either. So, granted, I don't think you would need to with them flying and stuff.
Yep. But you never know.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there's 170 points sitting here that need to get used up.
Okay.
I thought we were.
Well, I don't know. Do you want to add another Thunderbird or Firebird?
So
you got one of each so far, right?
No, just the Thunderbird right
just
now.
the Thunderbird. Okay, so
right now it's just a Thunderbird.
So 170, you could easily get a Fire Eagle. They're only 140.
That would leave you 30 points for civilians. You'd be at 1200.
And the two Sky Stallions puts it at 180. Is that or?
You go over if you add the two Sky Stallions. Hold on.
Yeah, they're 90 points apiece.
They're 90 piece.
Yeah, if you add them, you're at 1210. You're over by 10 points. And nothing you can drop because you don't have hands or anything like that.
Right. That's all the heavy hitters we've talked about so far.
Yep. You've got this is a very small elite unit, posse at this point.
Kind of reminds me of what he usually likes to play.
Yeah. That's typically my thing.
Or you can fill in a bunch of hands.
So that's something to consider with going with the Raven Spirit, because I don't actually have Cloud Runner right now. So why don't we explore not having her?
Okay.
So that gives us more points to play with.
Try to explore Raven Spirit. So
Raven Spirit's got a lot of flexibility now. If I drop her, you're back at 835.
Right.
And you have lots of different options on how to structure how this is
put
together.
Where are we in his theme slot wise?
In his theme slot wise,
got Elkon in first.
Well, I put Elkon in first, but you don't have to. You could put in a Warrior Nation's hand, hands unit. But say he's in first. Then in the second slot, there's a Hoda, and that's an end or hands unit. Then there's Banaba, And that's an and or spirit support unit, which means the spirit apparition. Slot 4 has Taponi and or a spirit support unit. Then slot 5 right now has the Great Thunderbird, but that could be up to 2 Warrior Nation hands units or support units.
As is the 6th slot.
The 6th slot is the same, yes.
Okay, so what if it looks like keep it everything the way that we had so far,
Mm-hmm.
and adding the so go ahead and in slot 3 add the spirit support unit and add the apparition.
Do you want me to add it there, or do you want me to add it up by Raven Spirit? Because we dropped Raven Spirit's free one earlier. Not free one, but the one that doesn't take up a slot.
Right, and it's coming by itself. Because I know you can bring them in numbers, right?
I don't know. I would have to look.
They come in
Spirit apparition, 1 to 3 of them. So yes, the one that comes with him comes in by himself.
Okay, so he just gets 1 bodyguard.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll add the 1 bodyguard and then a unit of 2 in the slot 3.
Slot 3.
Yeah, those are 45 apiece.
Okay. You're at 970. You've got 230 points left to work with.
Okay.
Now, did you want to look at that max size Plains Warrior unit to get the totemic rule?
Yeah. Go back to the theme.
So I'll drop that in here.
So you want to look at the theme for
Theme card again.
Raven.
Now, to bring them, we have to drop the Thunderbird to the 6th slot because the 6th slot is faces or support. The 5th slot is the hands or supports. So you go Planeswalkers. What's the max size Planewalkers unit?
I think it was 3.
That's the minimum size. What's
The max. Plains Warriors, we're talking? Looks like it says 15 for the Warriors.
15. Holy cow.
Ouch.
And the Stalkers are 15 also. I mean, they're 25 points apiece. So
It just says Plains Warriors, so I guess you could take either of them. No, Plains Warriors would be the Plains Warriors. Okay.
Right.
So
That's a specific thing.
20 points off, but that's 300 points to take a full-sized unit. And do you need 15 hands?
I don't even have them that many.
Yeah, so let's forget about that idea.
Who can that?
Yep.
well, if anybody's in the chat has a suggestion, let's see. Yeah, I mean, Benji did bring up a point that no hands prevents opponents from getting those CPs. CPS?
No what?
No hands prevents opponents getting those.
I don't know what CPS is.
Yeah.
Victory. I think he's talking about victory points.
Might be
From the
that.
adventure cards, maybe?
Yeah. VPs, yeah. Victory points is what he was talking about. Because there are so many cards that target hands.
Right. Still a lot of points left to play with. Still 230 points left to play with. You have slots for more support or more faces.
Okay, so why don't we throw in the 2 Sky Stallions.
Okay. Do you only want 2 or do you want 3?
Well, let's see what
Do we
it
have
does.
enough for 3?
One.
No, don't have enough for 3. You have 50 points left if we put in the 2 Sky Stallions. You still have space for face units or strategic slot. Or some hands.
That'd just be 1 or 2 hands.
I think you have 15.1s are the cheapest ones. So you can get 3 of the cheapy guys, the melee.
Yes, see the hunters. The hunters are 20. I think the melee are 15.
Yeah. The blood something, I forget what they're called.
Young bloods are 15.
Young bloods. So you can get 3 young bloods.
What's their speed? They have a quickness of 6, which isn't horrible. Yeah, I don't think you have enough points for like a face here.
Nope.
Kind of quickly looking through some of the faces. I mean, Raven's Eye is 100 points. If he wants somebody that can shoot 18 inches with a refined gun.
We could.
You did mention White Buffalo. Or no, wasn't White Buffalo. It was it White Buffalo?
Yeah. I have him. He's already painted though.
He's 100 points also. What other faces? Iron Tooth you mentioned. He's 170. He's legendary, so he's pricey. Now
Brian, I think you mentioned you liked the idea of the Sky Stallions because it went with all the flyers, kind of the sky theme.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I think are you wanting to keep them?
No, we're theory crafting, so obviously
I got a good suggestion in the chat. I think Tom would like this. I'm trying to find him in here though.
Stonefist?
Grumpy Bear. There he is. I went right by him. He's probably expensive.
He's 185.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you drop the Sky Stallions, you could bring him.
There you go, Brian. Bring a big old raging bear who has 3 fortune. Oh, he's a boss.
he doesn't have to be in the posse.
No,
you
that's
can take
true.
him in a second.
That's true. I mean, just bringing 3 more fortune, though.
For himself, though.
Himself. But
Yep. But the idea, same thing, with Stonefist. You'd have to bring him as a boss, but you have your Sky Stallion boss then.
look at him. He wants to tear into somebody.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Stonefist.
Stonefist, do you think?
He fits that Sky Stallion spot.
Yeah, kind of would. With the Sky Elite 160. Yep. Theme wise, he would fit. I mean, he's got a grit of 7. His quickness is 8. Man, he's got a fatal on that sucker on the Song of the Stone. His ranged weapon.
Yep. Blast portal weapon.
I kind of like this one, Brian. Do you got Stone Fist?
Yeah, but he's got a layer of dust on him.
Oh no, what will you do?
Played about the Sky Stallion having dust on him. He's literally sitting amongst the 3 Sky Stallions.
Well, as you know what? Part of this too is to get you to use some of those models. That's why as players we do list building and stuff and try different things, and we gotta get you out of those infernals, man.
Can't be all vomit all the time.
It won't be out of, but
oh wait, we have to bring Bass Reeves, right?
I did. That was one of my ideas. Thinking of doing that. But.
Well, I think we've kind of got one. If you go with Stone Fist here, a list.
Let me see what we got. It's got to be Warrior Nation, Posse, Stone Fist. I dropped them out. That's 11:30. There's 70 points left.
70
now,
points.
Here's something. If you're going to take Stone Fist, right? What if you dropped out those 2? It'd be close. I think it'd still be over.
The 2 ghosts.
Yeah, the 2 ghosts, and then you could bring the Sky Stallions in with him.
Oh man!
now you've got your little Sky Stallion posse.
Oh my god!
Together.
But
you can't do it though the way the posse is structured.
For his, okay.
Yeah.
Well, not even if you take him with a generic one.
Yeah, you have to take him with a generic one.
Well, what's Stone Fist's posse?
He doesn't have his own posse.
He has to take the generic one.
Oh, he's a phase?
No, he's a boss, but he does not have his own posse. He doesn't have a theme posse.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what his theme posse probably is?
The Sky Stallions.
Right. His first slot's probably bring a unit of Sky Stallions.
Probably. It probably is.
All right, let's see how long we've been gabbing. We're at just over an hour and a half. So we'll go ahead and see if we can come up with something for Brian to work with. Yeah, this is the hard part when you're posse building is you get a theme.
The hard part. This is fun.
Well, yeah, it's fun.
And obviously, we don't actually have to be like, oh, we're 100%. This is what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, there's always the trial. You build it, you try it, and it's like, well, let's tweak this, and that is fun. It's one of those. It's those scratching your head moments of what could I do,
right?
That a lot of people just love, and I will have to say, and Tom's manning it. Thank God for the Posse Builder right now.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. So let me throw this out there, Brian. If you drop all 3 of, if we drop the Sky Stallions, and we drop all 3 of the apparitions, you could bring a 3rd boss and bring Cloud Runner.
And then bring what?
Cloud Runner.
Bring Cloud Runner as the 3rd boss.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet too.
I don't know. It's just a thought. Then this would be all flight. You'd be flight based. You'd have Stone Fist as your Sky Stallion representative. The only guy who would be grounded really would be
Raven
Spirit, and he's a spooky ghost anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts, Brian?
You see the steam coming out of his ears?
So,
So many choices.
right. So, I mean, that's one of the neat things about how these posses can work. And some people don't complain there's no flexibility. There's tons of flexibility. It's just whether or not you have access to all the different options that most posse building could provide. And luckily, I have a lot of those possibilities.
Wow.
But then I have some that fit in this what we're doing that I don't have. So
Right. I didn't even realize, Andrew just said in the chat, Raven Spirit has flight also. This entire posse would have flight except for Stonefist, who has Skyleap.
Skyleap. Oh yeah, he does have flight, doesn't he?
so
I missed that.
So the entire thing would have flight, which would be interesting. Might not be effective, but it would be very interesting to try it out.
You'd be getting around the board really fast.
Yes.
Some of these heavy hitters you got in here, once they do away with whatever, man, they could just move on to the next victim. Lickety split.
You would only have 8 models though on the board.
Well,
So,
we talked about like with the some of these units being able to take a lot of units off the board quick.
yes.
So,
and that's what I think you'd have to do, because you're bringing 3 bosses.
Yeah.
The way this is constructed.
And yeah, you have a lot of units that are unique character killers. They want to go after those characters, and if you do that, all of a sudden you starve the opponent with fortune. That it gets tough for them to start getting those VPs. That is something that having less units, your opponent has a harder time scoring victory points off of cards.
Right.
So, man, I don't want to play this.
I'm doing a count right now. 10, 12. Hold on a second. 4, 6, 9, 12. Another 4. You'd be bringing 16 fortune with this posse. Now, it's not all shareable. It's not all largesse, but you'd be bringing 16 fortune.
Yeah. That right there is a lot of flexibility in just what you want to do.
So here's the question. So truthfully, there's no way any one posse is going to be able to benefit from their theme per se.
Right.
Is there a way to spread out the faces to the 3 bosses?
Maybe. Do you know what? I don't think there is, because they all require that generic posse requires faces, not faces, hands in that first slot.
Okay. So it's best to put them as many in.
Raven Spirit.
But you don't need to take Alcon.
No, you don't have to take him.
He can be a boss on his own.
Yep, I'll be right back.
but then do you have to, let me open Raven's theme. So if you get rid of Alcon, it's or a Warrior Nation hands unit. So then you're looking at the hands unit in place of Alcon under Raven.
Oh, okay. So it's that first slot is Alcon.
Yeah.
Or hands.
Or a hands.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
And then we haven't even, Tom's talking about the fortune. We haven't even considered your totemic characters in this. And like if you took the large totems, getting fortune from them.
Right.
Oh, boy. I think I like what you got. And like we've mentioned, it's one of those things that, we put it on paper, kind of look at it a little bit, think about how they interact with each other, how they could get stuff done on the board when it comes to accomplishing scenarios. Like Tom said, this isn't a very elite posse. And I think what we could do after this live stream is we can have Tom post it up, and maybe people that are watching or that watch this later that don't catch it can comment, maybe make some more suggestions, and you could tweak it a little bit if we want. That'll help, I think, finalize what you still have to get or what you need to kind of group together to see what you have to go ahead. And once, like, me and Tom go through our build process, we're going to do some project hobby streaming of us working on the projects, building them, painting them, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think you guys that are watching or listening right now, feel free to later, if you think of something, make a suggestion for us. And if you guys miss this and just can't sit down and watch the video, I'm going to go ahead and convert this to audio and put it in our typical podcast stream places that we have. So you guys can listen to it on a commute, or if you're working on hobby stuff, you can just put it on in the background. But yeah, I think, why don't we start with that, Brian? You good with going with that and seeing what you can put together?
So where did we end up?
I think he's going to go with pretty much how you have it built right now, with the very elite posse. And then
so Raven Spirit, Alcon and the girls, Great Thunderbird, Stone Fist, and Cloud Runner.
I think so.
All right, that's 1190.
And if you really want to, how much are booby traps?
I think they're 20.
I wouldn't.
Not sure offhand, but I think they're 20.
It would bust you.
That would be awesome, though.
And I suggested after we get off the stream, Tom, if you want to post something that has Brian's list, and then people can comment in the coming days on it, or even in the live stream if they want to comment, and Brian can tweak it a little bit, and if he wants to swap something out, maybe he wants to. Maybe he really wants some civilians.
It's like anything else. The chat doesn't have to end with the ending of the
No, yeah. It's a good way for the community to keep the conversation going, and making it a community project, really, which is what one of our goals with this was.
Well, when I hit the 16 count on Fortune, Andrew pointed out, he asked if I counted the totems.
Yeah, I said we haven't even thought of that yet. So yeah, the booby traps are 10. Dang it.
They're 10 or they're 20?
They're 20. The civilians are 10. So
okay.
You could take the rather round guy holding the money bags, or even better yet, the nice looking lady chugging a bottle of whiskey
Nice.
or fire water.
Sarsaparilla. Come on. All right. So, all right. Sounds like we got a plan.
Yeah.
This sounds like it would be something really scary to go against because it's going to hit like a Mack truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But there's just not very many guys in it.
No, but I think as hard as they hit and as quick as they can get around the board, they'll even it out really quick.
Yeah.
And handicap opponents, either whether it's faces, hands, or what I think will happen is they're bosses.
Yeah, you just pick something. You just pick something out and say you're not going to have that this game.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, that's gonna be a little scary. I don't want to fight it.
No, I don't either. I don't know. Benji suggested enough. Like I said, he's first up.
Yep, I think so. I think so.
Well,
get ready, Benji.
Yep. All right, guys. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna post this up in case you miss it and you can't watch it. Feel free to make any kind of suggestions, comments. We'll keep, let's keep the conversation going, whether it's on this video on Facebook. I'll go ahead and share this in the Dark Council and keep an eye open for the audio version of this part 2 Posse Bonanza with us helping Brian put together a Warrior Nation posse. Thank you guys for watching. Real quick shout out, Tom, to the Posse Builder, right?
Oh, absolutely. They made tonight possible.
Yes, definitely. So if you guys can check it out, I do think he's, you can support him by, I think it's Gadzooks, right?
Gadzooks is hosting,
Okay.
Gadzooks Gaming. If you don't have an FLGS to get your stuff at, check out Gadzooks. There's always there's a small discount on there that generally kind of covers your shipping. And
also buy more than one thing, and
free shipping,
more than makes up for the $5 or $6.
Oh yeah,
shipping card charge, because the second items are second, third, anything is all just added to that first shipping charge. So you buy multiple stuffs and save money that way.
But they're supporting us as a community. So if you do not have an FLGS, think about supporting them as well.
Yep. All right, and just to wrap up the show, you can find us at all our web places. The podcast is in a couple places. We have it on Podbean. It's on Google Podcast, I think it's called now. They keep changing their name. iTunes. We are on Stitcher, and I think we're on Amazon Music.
My God, where you getting?
I'm not positive. I know. I'm spreading the tendrils out there.
Nice.
You guys can follow us on Facebook at our Facebook page, the Blackhoof Saloon Podcast. We're also on Twitter, Instagram. Tom's always hitting Discord, so if you guys are in Discord, look for us there. And you can find videos on YouTube for us. We have some unboxings. We actually have our first project that's similar to this, where we helped do a little walkthrough of painting with Tom. I just spectated, but with this new project, we're all going to do something eventually. So
we're all in.
We're all in. And of course, feel free to email us with any comments, questions, praise. Hey, good job, guys. We like that. It keeps us going at the Blackhoof Saloon, gmail.com. But I think that's about it, guys. I'm going to say, take it easy. This is Eric saying to ride with the sun at your back and always roll those big crits. You guys want to say goodbye, and we can go ahead and end this very long live stream.
Yep. Everybody have a good night on this strange Monday recording night, because I was too tired last night.
All right. Good to see you guys. And we'll see you next time. And yeah.
All right, cut it.
Okay, almost.
Thanks for stopping by the Blackhoof Saloon, y'all. We hope you enjoyed your visit. Feel free to get a hold of us with comments or questions via the interwebs and shoot us a telegraph at blackhoofsaloon@gmail.com. You can also find us on the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Music for the podcast was provided for use by Ross Bugden and can be found at one of his YouTube channels, Ross Bugden Music or Ross Bugden Composer. Until your next visit, ride with the sun at your back and always roll those big crits.